In today's video, I'm just showing you how to get the best sellers badge on your book for Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing by adding it to additional categories. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Dane, and on this channel I talk all about self-publishing books on Amazon, online entrepreneurship, and just lifestyle in general. So if that kind of thing interests you, make sure you subscribe, drop a like on the video, and hit the notification bell so you know when I post new videos. In today's video, I'm showing you and walking you through step by step how to get the best sellers badge on your self-published books through Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. And we do this by performing a bit of a trick that not many people really utilize to the full advantage, which is adding your paperback and your ebook to additional categories once your books are published. The reason why people don't really do this is because when you're uploading your book to KDP, it only gives you the option to add your book, your ebook, and your paperback to 2 categories maximum, and then you can publish it. But once it's published, what you can do is actually reach out to Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing Support and ask them to add it into 8 additional categories. So on top of the 2, you can get 8 more. So in total, you have 10 categories for your paperback and 10 categories for your ebook. And I'll be walking you through and explaining how this actually helps when it comes to getting the bestsellers tag for your book, which inevitably will lead to way more sales. So without further ado, let's jump into my computer. I'm going to be walking you through how to do this, how to find the best categories to add your books to, and how to reach out to Kindle Direct Publishing to get them to add it to additional categories. Okay, so as you can see on my screen here, adding your books to additional KDP categories, and this is going to help you with a lot of things. So let's first talk about the advantages to doing this quickly. So first things first, it's going to get you more reach for your books for free. The more categories you're in, the more eyes that's going to see your books, the more places your book's going to show up on Kindle Direct Publishing. So inevitably, this is going to get you way more sales. If your book is obviously high quality, of good cover, so people are clicking on it, it should get you more sales, which can lead to more earnings. And like I just said, more reach equals more potential for sales. So finding a category with low competition gives you the opportunity to rank #1 for it. So what do I mean by this? I'll show you some examples in a second here on screen. But basically what this means is you can find a category that doesn't have a whole lot of authority figures in it. So for example, maybe you're doing a book about swimming, about ocean, and you find one that's called like scuba diving or scuba or something like that, which I think is one I might show you later. There might not be a whole lot of books in that category, which means that the #1 ranking book in that category may have a BSR that's 50,000, 100,000. So it's as easy as getting a BSR below 50,000, below whatever the #1 ranking book is in that category, which is going to make your book show up as #1 in that category. It's best-selling books in scuba diving, right? It's going to get you that seller tag that way. So this in turn could potentially get your books the #1 bestseller badge, which I just mentioned. And this obviously adds a lot of authority and a lot of credibility, okay? So having that bestseller badge on your book is very powerful. And the thing I want to mention here is don't go adding your book to random categories just to get this bestseller badge. You have to be ethical with this, obviously, and find categories that do relate to your book in order to get it ranking. Because if it doesn't relate to your book, Amazon's just going to remove it from that category anyways. So like I mentioned, let's look at a couple of examples, and then I'll show you how to find these categories, how to find them so that they're low competition so you can get the best potential to get your book ranking for #1 spot. So let's look at this first book here. You can see this book ranks #1 in this category. So I'll click the link here. So as you can see, this category right here is called rafting. So if your book was about like boating or like some kind of water sport, you could definitely rank your book and get it to be put into this rafting category. And the thing I want to show you, the thing I want to hone in on here is that the #1 ranking in this one is a little bit lower than I'd like it to be. But it is one of those categories that's kind of far out. It has tons of chains. You can see one in sports and outdoors, water sports, and then rafting. So there's 3 chains plus the books category in Amazon. So there's technically 4 chains with this book. You can see this book has a BSR right now around 6,400. So not too bad. It's definitely doable to get your book ranking below that. It'll be a little bit more difficult, but it's definitely a category that could work for you. And the thing is, you look at this category and you see all these books, 10,000, 8,000, you could probably get your book ranking #4, #5 in this category, which in turn is going to get it more views because people might click into water sports, they might click into rafting, and then they'll see your book ranking at the very top of this category. So it's not the end of the world if you can't get your book ranking #1. It's still a good thing if you can get it ranking, say, in the top 10 up here, because you can see as we scroll down, these books have BSRs of 19,000, 23,000. So the higher they are, the lower the ranking, the easier it is to get past them. So let's take another look at the other example here. I can see it. When I wrote this, it was at 11K for its BSR. Let's see what #1 is ranking for this category, which is surfing. And you can see the #1 ranking book on this page is now 6,000. So it's jumped down quite a bit. This one was actually #1 before, so this is obviously a newer one that's been added into here. So you can see that's another example. This person might not have had their book ranking in the surfing category, but they came in here, they saw this one was ranking #1, it had 11 or 10K BSR. Like, wow, I can get my book ranking below that. Why don't I rank it in the surfing category so it'll be #1 showing up on the list there. So again, just another deep-rooted category. You can see it's books, sports and outdoors, water sports, and then surfing. So it's a 4-chain category. And if you don't understand the chain thing, I'll show you what it means in just a second here. But that is just another example of a category that could be well suited for a book that's not too difficult to get ranking in the top 5, top 10, because these BSRs are on the higher side. Now that I've shown you a couple of examples, let me show you how to use BookBeam here. You can see on screen, BookBeam is the extension, the app that I use. It's linked down below if you guys want to do this as well. BookBeam is the one that I use in terms of getting these categories. It helps me find the categories very easily. So let me show you exactly how it works. So I'm in the BookBeam app here now, and on the left side, I've gone down to Category Explorer. And if you're interested in getting BookBeam, guys, it has tons of other things like keyword finders, niche finders, keyword analyzer. I've gone over a few of these things in a lot of my videos, so you can refer to my other videos if you want to look more into BookBeam. But today we're using the Category Explorer, and you can see it brings you to this page. So the things that I'm going to click on here, I'll refresh this so it's brand new. There's nothing searched. So we're going to go into books. That's me, paperback books. Probably what you're going to focus on first. Make sure you're on the US market. And I'm going to select one of these categories here. Let's go with crafts, hobbies, and home, something like that. I've got it selected here. And then down here, you're going to see what is showing. So you can see the top 3 rank. You can pick if you want wherever the BSRs are going to be. So I'm going to go with the top 1 rank. So in this case, I want my book to rank number 1 for that category, and I want to get that bestseller badge on it. So I'm going to look for a category where the number 1 ranking book in that category is between 40 and 80K. That'll get me the most results here. Then we go to layer depth, and you can see I was talking about before the chains. So there's the books, then you go into 3, 4, 5. So usually there's like 4 or 5 chains that you want to look into. I'm gonna do a 4+ chain for this one, and I'm gonna click find categories. So once I click find categories, you can see right away it's gonna say I have 6 results. So that's great. We're looking for 8. Remember, we can get 10 total categories on top of the first 2 that we chose for our book. So for example, if my book is about home improvement, I'm looking to improve my home, looking to do some renovations or something like that, that's my book. Let's see what categories we could probably make work for our book. So down here, you can see the first one that it's giving me is books, crafts, hobbies, and home, crafts, hobbies, framing. So for this particular category, our book, in my opinion, would probably fit within that category just fine. And you can see the number 1 ranking book for this category is 48K. So I just showed you a couple of examples, which were like 6K. I think the other one was 6K as well, where the number 1 book was that. In this one, let's click it, and it'll show me the first ranking book here. You can see it's at 58K actually, so it's even higher. So if my book was a home renovation book, I definitely want to add my book into this framing category. And the thing you want to do is make sure you click and copy this chain, because this is going to come in handy when we send the email to Amazon, because you need to send them the full chain. So while you're doing this with BookBeam, make sure you're copying these and putting them into a Google Doc or something like that, so you can put them into an email when we send the email. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. So that's one very excellent category. The first ranking book is 50K. So if we get our book, say, down to 30K on the Amazon store, it's going to be ranking number 1 for framing, and it's going to get that bestsellers badge, which is just amazing. Looking down, there's a couple more here. You can see the full one is mice, hamsters, guinea pigs. That probably wouldn't work. Collectibles, buttons probably wouldn't work. Non-sports cars probably wouldn't work. Porcelain in China, that might work for home renovations. You can see the number 1 is 45K. So not too bad at all. If you're struggling to find categories while you click these, you can always open things up and make it 20 to 40K for the top 1K, or for the top ranking book. And that's going to give you a lot more results. You can go through here, find more categories that do pertain to your book that might have a little bit lower of a first ranking book, but you're not going to find 8 categories, trust me, that your book is going to rank number 1 for. It's best to try and find 3 or 4, maybe 2 or 3 maximum, where you can see the BSR is very high, like the one I was just showing you, which had like a 40K BSR for number 1. That way you can rank it like this one right here, 58,000. So it's very high. You can definitely get your book to 50K, not very difficult to accomplish. And once your book is at that range and is ranking and framing, you're going to get that number 1 bestsellers tag, which is perfect for social proof. So now you know how to find 8 additional categories using the BookBeam app, again, which is linked down below if you want to find those additional categories for your books. Let's talk about how to email KDP support once you have a list of 8 of those, so you can get your books ranking in those categories. So here's the template that I am going to give to you guys. If you want to use it, you can see this is exactly what you should be sending to Amazon if you want to add your books into these categories. So basically all I say is, hi there, I would like to add my book ASIN number. So make sure you include the ASIN number. If it's the paperback, make sure you put the paperback ASIN. You can also send an email with the books or the paperback categories and the ebook categories all at once if you want. You can do that as well. But in this instance, I'm just doing the paperback. Put the paperback ACE in there to be listed in the categories below. Make sure it's on .com, so the US website, and say again paperback, and then put categories to be added to, and then list out all of the categories. So in this instance, for some reason I put 9. You can only put 8 when you're adding your book to additional categories. So you have all 8 of them down here, and this is where the chain thing comes into play. So if you were in BookBeam, like you saw before, I went ahead and went like this, click copy, and then I just add that to my list, just like this. So put 9, and boom, the category is there, and that's what you can send to Amazon. So once you have a list out of maybe 7 to 8 categories, you have this email ready. The next thing you need to go is go to Amazon KDP, go to the back end, make sure you click help up top here, and it's going to bring you to this page right here. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to click contact us, bottom left. And then from there, what you're going to want to do is click this Amazon store and product detail page. It's going to make up a drop up and you go update Amazon categories. And then in this email right here, you can send Amazon an email directly to them, copy and paste this one that you've written, paste it into here. And now you have the email ready to go. We can send that to KDP, send message, and they will respond to you, say, hey, your book will be added to these categories in the next 2 to 3 days. So once you do that, you have all those categories added. It's very simple to do. You go through BookBeam, find them. You can always narrow down your chains. You can always up the chain if you want. Layer depth, they call it layer. I'm just saying chain. You can always add in higher or lower BSRs. So the higher the BSR that you choose up here, the more likely your book will be able to rank #1 for that category. But the thing at the same time is there's going to be less results. So it might be a little harder to find categories that work. So that is pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my tutorial on how to get your book ranking #1, get that bestsellers badge by adding it to additional categories by contacting KDP Support. So again, if you want to download BookBeam, it's it's one of the links down below. You can click it. You'll see it. It's a book. You can make an account for the application, sign in, and utilize it to find those categories. One quick thing before I let you guys go, I do want to mention I do have a 100% free Facebook community that's all about self-publishing. So if you're brand new to self-publishing, looking to get into it, you don't know where to start, this community is the perfect place to do it. It's the first link in the description. And when you join the community, it's 100% free. You'll see pinned to the top of the group is my 5-step guide to getting started with self-publishing. So if you're brand new to this, it's the perfect place to get started. Click the link in the description. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, again, make sure you subscribe, drop a like on the video, and hit the notification bell so you know when I post new videos. I try to post new videos every single week about self-publishing, online entrepreneurship, and just lifestyle. So if that works for you, I'll see you in next week's video. Peace.